Hello, welcome to Get a Grip. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and a special thank you to everyone that has liked, commented and subscribed. We've just hit 1,000 subscribers, so that's a big deal for us. So let's keep this moving. Let's try and spread this video and this channel out to as many people as we can, because we are the voice of the silent majority. So just to start us off, I thought we'd look at something quite, well, light-hearted and pretty offensive if you're white, and this is the idiot I found today. So I'm going to cover three main topics today, and they are statues, Sadiq Khan, and slavers. So what we've seen recently is basically the mob tearing down a statue of Edward Colston in Bristol, and then we see Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, having the statue of Robert Milligan removed from the East India Dock. This is a really disturbing move because it harks to the rewriting of history. All this hysteria seems to be built upon or meant to make you show your guilt if you're white. Because it was only white people apparently that had slaves, and slavery was all down to the white man. And, I'm going to sort of open that up a little bit and have a little bit of a look into that. But first of all, let's have a look at the complete idiot that is Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan became mayor in 2016. He's an absolute socialist, part of the Labour Party, plays identity politics all the way, and will pander to any minority that he can come across. One of his main campaign slogans was that he was going to get rid of stop and search. Now, I grew up in the late 80s and 90s in South London. I know about stop and search. I was stopped and searched many a time, and I'm white, so it really was just one of those things. And to be honest, it made everyone feel a bit better, I think, because if you know a majority of people are being stopped and searched before they go into the town centre or something like that, then it really will cut down on violent crime. And we'll just have a quick look at the effect that Sadiq Khan's reduction in stop and search has had on knife crime in London. So as you can see there, great job Sadiq Khan, knife crime rocketing in the capital. Boris Johnson has also been attacked yesterday for saying that he supports stop and search, especially during the protests. I think that's a sensible thing. You've got a lot of unruly people heading into London, and if you add weapons to that mix, it's not going to be good. But as you can see, it's racialised straight away by that utter rag that is the Metro. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that Sadiq Khan should concentrate more about getting knives and guns off the streets of London than he should statues. Obviously, all he's interested in is the virtue signal and, the identity politics that comes with that. Let's take a quick look now at some of the other stuff that's carrying on in London at the moment, as, organisations like Black Lives Matter, or Ban-Tifa, as I'm going to call them, look to really, one of their main aims is to remove the police from the streets. So let's see what's going on right now. The way I see it, it's open season on the police, and it's open season on anyone that doesn't follow the hardline socialist Marxist agenda of these left-wing communists. And, this is just the start of it. It's going to get worse. I'm going to run a quick summary at the end of this to show you everything else that's starting to happen. But I want to pull this video back now to one of the other elements. Let's talk about slavers and slavery, because I think, I had a quick conversation with my daughter yesterday and my son, and they were a little confused about slavery. They had obviously done a Google search, and let's take a look at that. So let's have a bit of a look into slavery and some of the history of slavery. Slavery was not a good thing, but it was quite prevalent in the ancient world. And, if you do a quick Google search, you'll find, asking when did slavery start, you'll find that it basically jumps immediately to slavery of black Africans in America, and really doesn't highlight how slavery was a cultural thing. So let's have a quick look. You might want to pause some pages, have a read, or, go to Wikipedia and have a look yourselves. So let's go. So do a quick Google search to see when slavery starts, and like I said earlier, it will jump straight to the first African slaves that were taken to Freetown in the USA. But let's dig a little bit deeper into this slavery, because, history doesn't just stop when the narrative suits a certain demographic. So a quick look here at the history of slavery. And as you can see, slavery can be traced back to virtually every culture, every nationality, every religion back in ancient times. It can be traced back to the ancient Sumer civilization, the Mesopotamians, was used in the Middle East in the Middle Ages, the Ottoman Wars, where Christians were slaves, the Dutch, French, Spanish, Portuguese, British, and Arabs, and a number of West African kingdoms played a prominent role in the Atlantic slave trade, and that's what the initial search would point you towards. So if you have a quick read of this page here, the African involvement in slavery, you'll see that slavery was already a cultural element within Africa before any white people actually arrived. And it was based on factional wars, tribal wars, etc., and was a major part of certain cultures, especially in West Africa. So take a read. I'm not going to go through it in detail, like I say, or look on Wikipedia, otherwise we'll be here all day. But the point I'm trying to make here is that white Europeans went to certain parts of Africa and discovered that slavery was acceptable, and being the industrious, ruthless people that they were, said, hold on a minute, we can make some money out of this. So let's just bring in another final element to the slavery conversation, and that is the fact that it was the British that outlawed slavery first, and really then started intercepting ships, etc., from other European nations. So, if you want to remove statues that have references to slavery, then, you want to remove the good and the bad. I don't think slavery should be erased from history. It happened. Let's deal with it. We all agree it was wrong, but let's understand the full history of slavery before we start blaming, the normal modern day white man that's walking around that really didn't have a lot to do with it. And also, blaming a country for its economic position because of slavery, because, don't forget, you live in this country too. So where does it all end, I hear you ask? Universities renaming buildings. Gone with the Wind taken off the TV. Sports personalities speaking out without knowing their own history. No one's tried to remove these yet. There's Sadiq, there's your next job. So just a final message to all those white people out there virtual signalling about slavery. Next time you chain yourselves up, make sure you have someone from a black African descendancy with you, because, the blame is shared across all colours. I'm not saying slavery was good, but what I'm saying is it wasn't all just down to the tyrannous white man. I'm going to leave you with the last bit of good news that I could find on the internet, and all I can say is bring on the spiders, and until the next one.